It's time again for another episode of the Real Pundits podcast, episode 51. And we had take a little bit of a break there due to some work schedule.
Real people job stuff.
We had to sit there and go through and take a break. So let's start this off like we always do. My name is Alex.
I'm Brandon.
We are going to talk about some movies today. A little bit of online streaming type stuff. And then we're going to get into our main event. And that's why I'm going to leave it at that. So,
you know what we're going to do in the main event? We're going to test our might.
Oh, gosh. Are we going to finish this episode?
We are going to finish it. All right.
So this week I watched I Am Mother. And man, I enjoyed this movie. You go through and you have this movie where it's a robot, a girl, and a woman. And the main characters of I Am Mother they all go through the names. Girl, mother, woman. Those are your main characters. That's pretty much it. The entire thing is very ode to Asimov type of writing as far as an actual show. And I thought it was really interesting that we have another movie where, again, we fought the robots won, and now you get a chance to see what happens in the aftermath of this. I found one thing online. They were talking about how I Am Mother is the prequel to The Matrix. And I can see this being as such. In this movie, you have girl who is being raised by a mother who happens to be a robot to be her successor is basically what this whole thing is about. And seeing the trials and tribulations of this young girl going through and seeing what she has to do to actually replace the thing that she is known as her only parent. And bless you for that sneeze. So we have that going on in a movie that was on Netflix, which led me to thinking about other movies where robots have tried to kill us, and I seem to have a problem where I love movies where robots are trying to kill me. 2001 is another great example.
Yeah.
Robot blatantly trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Any other movies you can think of off
Terminator.
the top? Another where?
The Matrix.
Yeah. Robots killing me.
I Am Robot.
See, I don't want to count that
or
one.
I, Robot. Not I Am Legend.
I Am Legend is a totally different story, and I was going to follow you on that one. But no, I really enjoyed it. So if you have a chance to go through and check out another movie where a robot's trying to kill you, I think this one is one of the better ones that's come out recently. And I think Netflix is really throwing down on their production level because I was expecting a lower level production. So that's my recommendation for the week is I Am Mother. What is yours?
I don't have a recommendation for the week. I just have a review.
Oh, you're not recommending this one, huh?
Oh, God, no.
You were so amped up about it, like, I'm going to go watch this.
Yeah, so I watched Good Omens.
And
woo, Good Omens. That's my review of it. It was
that's a very short.
It wasn't
review.
as good as the Neil Gaiman book.
I was wondering how they're going to do as far as translating.
It was fine. It was fine as for a translation. David Tennant did amazing. The whole show was entertaining. But it wasn't the book. Once again, mind's eye better than.
Is that what your main complaint is? It's not like the book.
Yeah,
you can't separate that.
No, what I envisioned while reading the book was a lot different than what I saw on television. It was fine. It's fine. Great production value. Fantastic. Very Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy-ish.
I was starting to see that. I was watching the first couple episodes, and it really had that same feel.
All in all, it's okay. I mean, if you dig it, then if you dig things like The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you'll enjoy it. If you like the book, you might enjoy it.
See, that was where I have the difference of opinion. That's the reason why I only got 2 episodes in. I don't want to sit there and jump on the same bandwagon as you. The first 2 episodes, I was like, this is so...
Hitchhikers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I was like... And the fact of you didn't get the proper introductions the way they did in the book.
It's not...
So I kind of walked away from it.
It's fine for what it is.
For people who haven't read the book, this is a great gateway into...
Neil Gaiman.
Right.
Well...
Again.
Yeah, again. There's a lot of gateways to Neil Gaiman out there.
Yeah.
American Gods did it way better.
That's the problem that I was going to bring that up next is we have 2 different products, and one just did well, and the other one, to me, is not on the same par. Now, do you think that has to deal with you have a plethora of characters, you have to kind of figure out some things, unlike with Good Omens, the story is pretty much...
It's set. It's fine.
And the humor is also of Good Omens versus the very dry humor of Good Omens in the book versus
American Gods.
American Gods. You got a deep story with American Gods, and you're constantly trying to figure out who's who are they, whose side are they really on, and that gets a little bit more into a series.
But it's, like I said, all in all, it's fine. It's good enough.
Do you think it was also the other thing that pushed it away was it the company that was producing it that made a difference?
Because Man in the High Tower is awesome.
Okay, so that's that one. And they have a couple of other ones.
Yeah, they have a couple of other okay ones, but Man in the High Tower is amazing.
That is a good series. I will give you that one. But
Amazon is mediocre at best. I mean, for their
as far as
they
get
average, they're average. They got some really good, and then the rest of them like meh. It's not the same as Netflix. It's definitely not the same as some Hulu.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not an HBO production. It's not Stars.
Yeah, but Stars knocks one. The difference is also with Stars. Stars will pick. Okay, we got this product. We're gonna run this until we're done with the story. Okay, we're done with that. We'll go to the next product.
They left a few on the table. Camelot was one they left on the table.
I think they couldn't handle it. And at the time period,
Camelot was awesome, man.
Camelot was okay.
That was a fantastic dude. Eva Green and the kid that was playing Arthur, like,
it was okay. Good.
And what was it? The Spartacus, but that's a whole separate thing. Actor died. Can't really continue. Which, speaking of actors dying and ruining shows,
okay, is that where we're
that's going to be our next, our first episode of when we transition.
Is actors dying that ruined?
No, it's going to be about a show that was halted because their main actor died.
Now I'm curious. Which one were you going with this?
Oh, it's about being embraced.
Oh, we're going there.
We're gonna do Kindred the Embraced.
We're going there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Either way, so is it time?
It is time. So I want to do this really excitedly. So in the 90s, we were not very good with technology. We had some movies come out that were just mediocre at best. Movies like Super Mario Brothers, Double Dragon,
Now you're talking about the video game genre we didn't do well in, because there's a lot of other movies that had amazing special effects for its time.
But I'm naming the movies in that Wing Commander, the first House of the Dead. Second one was awesome. Alone in the Dark. You look at the Tomb Raider movies, and that was not even 90s. That was early 2000s. These are movies that did not translate very well from video game.
I thought Tomb Raider did a really good job.
I think people were hyped on it because Angelina Jolie, but she's not.
Sans her, I thought they did a really good job of adapting the...
They didn't do as good of a job as they did for Mortal Kombat. This movie is the best video game to movie adaptation to date.
Based off of money or just based off of your own opinion?
Money, opinion, number one in the box office for as long as it was.
Yeah, so you're going the money side of it.
I'm not just going the money side of it. I'm going in general.
Okay. Hey, go for it, man.
So, Mortal Kombat. It stars Christopher Lambert, Robin Shou, Lindsay Ashby, Kerry Tagawa, Bridget Wilson, Talisa Soto, Trevor Goddard. Cool thing about Trevor Goddard's character, Kano, it influenced the rest of Mortal Kombat. Kano wore so before the movie came out, Kano wore half a face, like half a metal mask.
Right.
After the movie, now that metal is part of him because they were trying to do it uniquely in the film. So let's talk about
something on that same category. Paul Anderson.
So
we can pass on like actors, whatever. Yeah.
This guy's first film was a meh independent English production, right? It was meh. Now, his second film was Mortal Kombat. This guy has gone on to direct such films as Event Horizon, Resident Evil, AVP, that's Aliens versus Predator. And by the way, when I say Resident Evil, I don't mean just Resident Evil 1.
No.
He did Resident Evil 1 and 2. He also did Death Race and Pompeii.
The remake of Death Race.
The remake of Death Race and Pompeii. But I want to talk about money.
And married and what's the girl's name? Lilu? Can't remember. Mila Jovovich.
She was in Resident Evil, but
yeah, he married her.
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't see. That's far beyond my knowledge. Yeah. So the budget on this film was $18 million in 95.
Jeez.
Right? And 95, they weren't throwing a bunch of money at a bunch of movies, and the technology wasn't what it is now.
No, it wasn't that.
Grossed at being number one at the box office in August. You have to remember, this is back to school season, so not even summertime. This is back to school. Grossed $70 million. $454,000 to be specific. So, I think it did well for 90s standards for a video game movie, especially if you look at whatchamacallit.
What other things you had to compete against at that time?
Street Fighter.
Street Fighter was
Well, if you
bad.
look at Street Fighter, it lost money. Mario Brothers lost money.
The only movie where I had Raul Julia where I'm like, that wasn't that great.
Right?
That was a sad one for when it comes to movies.
Fun fact about this film, Steven Spielberg was supposed to make a cameo because he was a huge fan of the series.
Wow.
But he did not. He was supposed to make a cameo as the director in Johnny Cage's first scene.
So that would have been a cool
But
cameo.
that
would have been a cool cameo.
He had to pull out because of just obligations. So they made they still kept the scene and they made the director look like him as a nod to him. Christopher Lambert spent a bunch of his own money on this film for the cast and crew.
Oh gosh!
Because they had to, they basically had to boat in from Thailand a bunch to like remote islands over in the Pacific.
Right.
And it was a miserable time, and so Christopher Lambert made sure that these people had like plenty of entertainment, and just he wasn't supposed to do any of the shooting in Thailand because it wasn't in his contract, and his agent and his publicist or whoever in his background wanted more money for him to do those things. So Christopher Lambert said, "No, I'm going to do it." And so we got more rated scenes than were initially written in because Christopher Lambert was all in on this film. And the only reason he got the role was because Highlander.
All because of Highlander.
All because of Highlander.
Because there can only been one. Since he survived the quickening, he gets to be in other movies.
Well, they thought they were working on a really low budget and they were trying to pick a existing star to help carry the franchise, like to help be, the guy to be relied on.
Right.
Because Robin Shaw, who played Liu Kang, was nobody back then.
All right. He was the only big name.
Yeah, Christopher Lambert. And, technically Bridget Wilson was. She had just come off of her Adam Sandler.
Ah, yes.
She had just wrapped Adam Sandler. Like, she had just wrapped Billy Madison to come here. Almost, instead of her for Sonya Blade, we almost got Cameron Diaz. She injured herself in training.
Wow, that would have been a different movie.
It would have been, right? Like, can you imagine just looking back on the career, watching something about Mary and then trying to go back and watch Mortal Kombat?
No, I don't think that would ever work.
It wouldn't have I think the happenstance of losing her was fantastic because they had saw the mask and said, "Oh, she'd be perfect for Sonya Blade." The studio did.
I think she was too silly for that.
I think so too. But hey, I think this is a very underrated martial arts flick.
It's dated. I will not even deny that watching
it doesn't look good. It does not hold up.
The action
today.
sequences are dated, but the work that Paul Anderson did as far as his camera work and the shots that he got, a lot of long shots, very wide shot, which really helped keep the video game vibe. Now that part, I think he did a really good job of giving so many homages that kept you tied to. And you can
tell he had nothing to do with the sequel.
There was a sequel?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what? There was an annihilation of a sequel?
Annihilation of a sequel, indeed. That was the meaning of that one. They are in the works of another one with Anderson. Anderson's talking about
actually doing it this time because there was one that was floating around on the internet for a while there that I thought was really.
From what I was reading, and my source could be wrong. From what I was reading, though, that was Anderson's film.
Really,
he was just trying to because he's been dying to go back to the franchise.
So Michael Jai White is Jax.
That was who was originally supposed to be Jax.
Okay.
Michael Jai White turned it down.
And then came back for it for that short.
Michael Jai White was the first person that they approached for Jax. And he turned it down.
And then came back for it for the short, which I thought they did a great job. The concept of Baraka, that was the best Mortal Kombat concept I've actually ever seen. And a little bit more grounded and not so...
I'm curious as to what's going to happen with it. I think for the time it came out, they did what they could with what they had.
For its time period, if you remove it from that, they did a great job for capturing a video game. I mean, down to little tiny scenes of Johnny Cage fighting, and after the fight, there's a picture that happens just to be there. I thought that was another great
they tried to do fatalities and
they tried. Yeah.
They couldn't do so the freezing, like headless freezing thing,
right?
Because the studio was so adamant about the PG-13 rating. The initial scene was the Sub-Zero ripping the spine out.
Oh, so they were considering.
Yeah, the studio meddling is how it got PG-13. It was supposed to be an R rating.
When it was time period, could you imagine if they actually did that though?
I think it would have been more successful if it was an R rating.
Not for the time period, because at that exact same time period, back in my day,
in 95.
Yeah, man. Still.
But you got to think, the people that played the games that made it the most popular game in arcades
weren't even 18 yet.
They were too. The adults that had grown up with it.
No. In 95, I grew up on that game.
Right, yeah, okay.
And so I wasn't even in the core yet. So we're talking about by the time this movie hit theaters,
it would have appealed to the adult slasher crowd.
It would have, but your majority of your budget your market was towards people who were teenagers.
Right.
So you especially back then, you had to have made it PG-13. I don't think you could have made that a movie.
PG-13 is the reason there was no blood in it.
Yeah, and that's where I go. It was needed.
Yeah, 100%. It's hard to...
Especially after all the
what would
get
you
up
score
about that
this
movie.
film?
See, now you're making it a challenge for me because the direction, the camera shots, I still hold up. The acting, the
acting wasn't the worst. I've seen Evil Dead.
See, I think that's a comedy, so I let all that go.
It wasn't supposed to be.
Wow. So, if I have to give it a score, I'm going to give it a 4.
No, that's about right.
Yeah.
I'd bump it up 1 because
Okay,
it did sit number 1 at the box office for so long, and just how well it stuck to its video game roots, and it being basically besides Resident Evil the only successful video game franchise adaptation to movie.
Okay, I'll let that one.
So 5 out of 10.
I'm going to fight you, man, on that 5. For once, I'm doing the one who's fighting you. You're that even with the budget,
I can't give it above the 5. And
no, I'm trying to knock it back down to 4.
But an $18 million budget, it's hard to do anything with it. When you have the studio overlord saying you can only make this a PG-13, so you have to rewrite this stuff.
Even with that, I was going to go through and put it down to a 3, but because of all the things you brought up, I will fight you for a 4.
It was Paul Anderson's second film. He did that good on his second film.
Props to the man.
4.5.
I'll compromise. I will give a 4.5 because it's a good movie. It's real nostalgic, but as far as when you put it up against other movies, especially now, especially just in Paul Anderson's filmography alone, that one's really low.
Yep. I mean, they were, which is the Event Horizon is the reason Paul Anderson didn't come back. The studio wanted it done right then and there. And he was already committed to Event Horizon. And he said, no, I'm going to do this sci-fi film.
And I'm glad he did.
Me too.
Because now you want to talk about a movie. Now that's a movie I can sit there and give higher scores. And not even having seen it in maybe 6 months, I will give that a very high score.
Maybe. We'll see. I might fight you on it.
On Event, you're willing to fight me for Mortal Kombat.
I appreciate the effort on a smaller budget. I appreciate small budget effort.
Cthulhu. It's the closest broad spectrum movie that we're ever going to get to the mythos.
Pandora?
Mm-mm.
The sequel?
Event Horizon. Event Horizon, still better.
Yeah.
Pandora was interesting.
Yeah, but it was a sequel. Even if it doesn't count.
I won't count it.
It's produced by Mr. Paul Anderson.
All right, if we're on the topic of video game movies, just for a second, what did you think of when you first saw Resident Evil?
Oh, I hated it.
What?
I hated it.
What did you hate about Resident Evil?
No Claire, no Chris, no Wesker. I wanted that mansion. And not like what we got. I wanted that.
So you wanted to find blue and green herb all over the place?
Yeah. No. So I wanted the same feeling I got playing the game.
Well, if you're going to put it in that, then
I wanted a horror, not an action film. Not an action film starring zombies.
Oh, okay.
I wanted a horror film, which is what I thought it was going to be. And then I saw the movie and I was like, oh. And then I saw it a second time. I was like, well, okay. But at first I was like really let down. Because when I think Resident Evil, I think of that alone in a massive house. Walking into rooms, finding zombies, being trapped. Your team being dead, being betrayed by your boss.
You wanted to walk up to a door and have the whole theater kind of pause for half a second while it loads up.
Yeah. I also wanted the actress to try to use the right joystick and just aim upwards to the ceiling really quick.
For the first 5 minutes or so of the movie where
she's just trying to aim. She can't do it.
Yeah, okay.
Runs out of bullets because she has to use that stupid knife and die a bunch of times.
Okay.
That's what I wanted.
That you wanted a playing of your own version of.
Yeah, but there was no Rebecca. There was no Rebecca or Chris, which bothered me.
They removed a lot of the characters, but I thought they did a really good job as far as keeping the video game
As far as keeping
lore,
it to an action film with the video game lore.
lore.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
And I don't think you really... I think people would have judged it harder if you actually used the characters.
I think if you would have used the characters and had it set up, imagine that. Your opening scene is people running into a... Like, this is your opening scene. It opens with you running into a mansion, not knowing what just happened. Right? You as the audience. Now they got to split up to find Wesker. Now you're going to follow Rebecca because Chris sucked. You're going to follow Rebecca through the house.
Right.
Then you see that first zombie just...
And you have to have that slow scene to that zombie.
Yeah.
Slow down. That was a good...
It sent a feeling up your spine.
Oh, and you also have to have a dog jump through a window, too.
Yeah, you're going through the hallway. Bam, the zombie dog jumps through the window. Better hope she's got the shotgun. And then at the end, you need the rocket launcher just to get
the point home.
Yeah.
All right,
that
then
one Colt. Yeah.
I'm gonna jump on to another Paul Anderson movie, and then we'll wrap this up. I'm just gonna pick one because I'm avoiding AVP because
AVPR sucked.
AVPR sucked. AVP started something that they never finished, and that pissed me off.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because they really got into that whole mother category. And
let's talk about Death Race.
The remake of Death
Race with Jason Statham.
The concept I thought was cool. I love the entire... It was
shot really well. I just wish it had somebody other than Jason
Statham. That was my only thing. My only beef with the entire movie has nothing to do with... I love that it was a remake. I love the remake of it because it's really simple as far as going through and making...
I like the remake of that.
Oh.
Death Racers.
Yeah.
Death Racers with the Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah, you know how many other movies they've like followed through with the whole death race thing for like a while there?
Oh yeah, because of this film,
right?
And it was successful, so good for him.
But Jason Statham,
and I don't hate Jason Statham.
I didn't think he was. That was a total.
I like
waste
Jason Statham in British films. I don't like Jason Statham in American films.
All right, since we jumped on Death Race, we'll also go ahead and finish up Pompeii.
Oh,
what did you think
of
Pompeii?
Movie was amazing.
Okay,
I liked it.
I'm okay with it. There were some really cool shots.
It's really hard to make a movie about Pompeii and it'd be like really happy.
It was on fire.
Yeah, like it's Pompeii. Like it's a tragedy, man. Like
yeah, but they tried to actionize a tragedy that
I mean, they've been doing that for a while.
And then connecting it to real history because that one body, those two bodies that they found together in real life, they try to mimic that at the same time. I was like, really, dude?
I mean, it
really
works.
Yeah.
Better than 2012. Or Skyscraper, or any of the other dramatizing or Day After Tomorrow type.
That was another good one.
But it's part of the whole genre of dramatizing natural disasters.
The natural disaster thing.
Twister, just
wait, you can't talk crap about Twister.
Why? Because Bill Paxton's in it.
That's a start. That news Twister, man. I'll fight somebody over Twister.
I won't. That movie was meh.
I still watch it. It's one of my annuals.
I can't.
It's still one of my annuals.
You know what? You know why I can't?
Why?
I hate Helen Hunt's face.
What? How did I know this was going to turn into?
It's just her. It's just every other piece of that film is fantastic. That and his fiance, that lady too. But like her grandma, I love her. Her aunt, like the lady with all the steak, I love her.
Again, for its time period, special effects, amazing.
Yeah, everything about it was great except Helen Hunt.
Wow, this has turned into...
And that makes it a 90s film because Helen Hunt was in it. Why her and Meg Ryan were considered like these awesome beauties in the 90s, I'll never get it.
So we're going to end this whole situation. I'm going to end it with happy birthday to Mel Brooks because his birthday passed. Let's talk about something to get you...
Yeah, Mel Brooks.
93. Wow. And no one will be allowed to watch his movies very soon because it'll be...
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Yeah, that can't be said anymore, and... I was going to start on another one, but I could see that getting us a whole lot of...
Candygram for Mongo?
That's a safe one.
Yeah, it is.
I was going to go with the first line of Blazing Saddles, but that might alone get me in trouble in the world that we live in. So if you want to talk about that...
Oh, you want to do the line from Robin Hood Men in Tights? It worked for Blazing Saddles.
Yeah. Hit us up, mailbag at therealpundits.com. I want to give a shout-out to my boy Ips because he's went through our entire catalog pretty quickly, and it's caught up to where we're at right now. And if you want to find us on Twitter... you can get us at Real Pundits at Real Pundits. That's basically what it is.
For now.
For now. Soon a change is coming. And on that note, what the heck are you singing?
That was our theme song.
In a very bad key. All right, people. Bye.